So I would say that if somebody is coming to the UK in today's date,
Namaste and hello everyone. My name is Shavika and welcome to yet another episode of Careers Beyond Degree. In today's episode, I am in conversation with Daksh, who recently graduated university, moved from Leeds to London, landed his first job role with Amazon as an intern, and in fact, at 19 years old, he landed his biggest collaboration at Harley Davidson with Flying Beast. He recently also ventured into content creation. So if you're wondering how he does all of this, then stay tuned and keep watching. Hi, Daksh. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on this podcast, Careers Beyond Degree. It's a pleasure to have you. Let's start by introductions like we always do. Tell us about yourself and what have you been up to today.
thank you so much, Shivika, first of all, for having me over. And a quick intro about me. My name is Daksh. I am 25 years old. I come from India, Delhi, and I've grown up in Bahrain and Maldives and Dubai. And I recently started a new internship here in London. I'm working with Amazon as a project management intern. And before this, I have completed my master's in marketing management from the University of Leeds. And I also am an automobile engineer. And yeah, very new to the city, just about over 2 months old in London, and it's going very good so far. And yeah, that's a brief intro about me. And yeah, again, thank you for having me over. Looking forward to this.
Thank you so much for being here, though. You mentioned you've been in Maldives and then Bahrain and then Dubai and then India and then UK. Tell us about that. What is all this move about? How has that impacted your life and your career and your outlook towards whatever you're doing today?
Sure. So first of all, I had no contribution on that. That was completely because of my dad
Mm-hmm.
and how his work was. But I think that did have a massive impact on um, who I've become today, I would say, because from what I remember, staying in India before I had moved out, I was a very different person. And living outside, being exposed to so many different people from all over the world, that does, I would say, broaden your horizons, gives you a better exposure, and also, I would say, to quite an extent, helps improve confidence. But overall, yes, that was a huge learning experience for me. It taught me so many things, and yeah, it was definitely something that is quite a major part of my life. But yes.
Did it make it difficult for you to find friends? Because I've moved a few cities, not few, like a couple of
Uh-huh.
cities, and it's not easy, leaving your friends behind and then making new friends, just
Yeah.
adjusting to a new place. So did you find it difficult to make friends or stick with your
So
old
I would,
friends?
so always, of course, always stick with the nice old friends that you've made. But I would say I've so far gotten very lucky where I've been, touch wood, and I've made some very few, but very, very nice and very close friends in whichever part of the world I've been in. So that way I've gotten lucky is what I would say.
Right. And is there any part of these few countries that you miss?
Definitely, every country has a certain bit that I love a lot, and I would always cherish. But yeah, that is always there. There's always something very nice associated to every part of your life, and
Yeah.
I have something very nice in every country out of these. So yeah, 100%.
I'm curious to know actually, when you've moved these countries, has that experience in any way shaped your experience in the UK? Because I've traveled a little bit and everything that I've done in the past before coming to the UK has really shaped my starting days in this country. Has that impacted how you live here in any way?
hmm I think I would say it made it slightly easier for me to settle in here and get adjusted to the new culture because I did have a couple of friends who were British and all of that. So I would say it slightly in a very small way contributed, but
Yeah,
nothing so major. Yeah.
right. Yeah, because I remember I moved here in 2016 and then in 2015 I visited my uncle in States and I was living with him for 1 month, and he had just moved out of his house into this new apartment and he was doing everything by himself, right? So when I went there, I had to do everything by myself, and coming from
Mm-hmm.
an Indian household, I didn't have to do much in the house. Like we always had moms doing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or we always had the house help, to sort things out for us. And then suddenly I'm washing dishes, I'm changing bin bags, and I'm changing sheets, and I'm doing a lot of stuff. So I think that until then, I wasn't sure that if I was coming to the UK just the next year, I thought I'll move to the US. But then I did come to the UK, and all that 1 month of experience shaped so much of my time in the UK. Like I knew things before anyone else would tell me. Like for example, even changing bins. I know someone who put everything, like all the rubbish in the bin without the bin bag. And I remember the lady saying that I'm not going to take this because there is no bin bag. But that was something I already was aware of just because of that little travel experience of mine. So I was just curious that did it like help you in any way? Did it impact you in any way?
No, from what I can remember, I always knew where to put the trash, but it did definitely help to some
Yeah.
extent, is what I would say.
Right. I think it's a very Indian problem, isn't it? Like,
It is.
yeah, we're guilty of that, some of us.
Hmm.
So you just mentioned that you've landed your first role in the UK with Amazon and it's an internship. A lot of students find it hard, a lot of professionals find it hard. Take us through that journey. What happened? How did you find the role? How did you land it eventually? What was the interview like? Just the little details of it.
Sure, I'll give you a broad overview. First of all, it is a very, very lengthy and very tedious process. It is, I still remember the time, so specifically the time from when I graduated till the time I did not have any internship or job or whatever. That was, I would say, one of the, I did have fun, but again, one of the worst times because there's this sense of, you don't know what is going to happen. There's instability. You're living outside. You're spending your mom and dad's money in pounds, which they
Yeah.
weren't in Indian rupees, right?
Hmm.
And it just feels a bit weird, and it is a bit hard. But what I would say is that at least what I did is you need to apply very early. That is something that everybody says. Even I knew, but most people tend not to do. I knew that when you start university, at least masters, right, there are graduate programs that open 1 year in advance. So
Yeah.
let's say you're starting your degree today. Let's say today is September when degrees normally start. It's September 2024. You are to graduate in September 2025, right? There are jobs that you can apply in September 2024, and you would literally have a job waiting for you as soon as you graduate. I knew that, but with all of the changes, all of the instabilities, and all of the, I've just started university, new friends, new people, new city, it tends to get very hard to do something very boring like filling applications, right? So
Yeah.
we all know this that you need to start early, but we tend not to. So that is something I would definitely recommend that everybody should do is start as early as you possibly can, and like at least allocate some time off your week to making job applications right from the beginning. So I personally, I think I started properly from, so just for reference, my degree started in September. I think I started applying properly to jobs sometime from my second semester, which was towards the end of January.
Right.
And it took me close to 9, 10 months to land
Wow.
a job, right? So right from the beginning of the year, I was applying to jobs here and there. Of course, shuru mein in the starting, it wasn't that aggressive in terms of job applications, but yes, eventually I picked up, and I would have easily done 300, 400 applications, and I had made this Excel of it, and I would color it red whenever I would get a rejection, and it is literally so red that I cannot even tell you. So, so yeah, it is a difficult process. It is a start process. It's a very tiring process, but you need to start early, and it is literally, I would actually say, it is a number game because I mean, it does not take a genius to say that okay, your CV should be nice. You should have a nice cover letter if applicable. You should apply to a relevant role, right? These are all very basic things that I feel if you're doing a master's, you should already know, right?
Yeah.
Now it just boils down to how relevant the role is to you, which increases your chance to get selected, right? How many applications you're doing. tiny bits of strategies like applying to roles which have just opened up, right? So these are the tiny tweaks that you can do, but the main thing is 100% how many applications you put in. And then, of course, there are some strategies that you might want to do, which might again then further strengthen your chances. But if you don't apply, then those chances never exist in the first place, right?
How did you
So
face
yeah,
those rejections? Was it hard?
no, I'm used to it now. It doesn't bother
had
me.
had so many, now you're not bothered by them.
Yeah, yeah. And some of those rejections are so creative. Like they'll
Right.
be like, "Congrats, we received your application. It was amazing. You were one of the people who were shortlisted." I'm like, "Yes, I got this job." And then they're like, "But we're so sorry. The position is now closed," or something like that. So
Oh
yeah, I
gosh.
mean, great rejections I've received. But yeah, it's all part of the process, is what I would say.
But what So one thing that I've been asked a lot is that when you get rejections, a lot of students or professionals, they go back and ask for feedback, and that's
Yeah,
something they've never gotten, right? And for whatever reason, like very recently I saw a reel where they said that every time you get a rejection, write an email to the employer asking them what the feedback is, why did I get rejected, and 9 out of 10 times they will not reply back, but that one feedback is very important, whoever that one is who replies out of the 100 employers. So, did you seek feedback? And is this very common that employers don't provide feedback
yeah.
in
This is
your
of course
experience?
this was a standard practice that I had. I would always reach out to at least if the job is something I like or something I'm looking forward to. I would always make it a point to reach out to the whoever it is, recruiter or the job board or whatever, to give me some feedback. And it is, of course, very rare that they would get back, but I did get some very constructive feedbacks from doing this. So I would definitely recommend it.
And how many times did they reply back with the feedback?
I think it is literally the same number you mentioned. It's less than 10%, not even 1 out of 10. I would say
Right.
2-3% is what the actual number is. So yeah,
Even that one feedback matters, right?
yeah,
Even
yeah,
if one
hundred
person
percent.
replies.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
So, what's a day like in your life now, now that you've transitioned from Leeds to London and then with your internship and everything? I do see the reels online and then I see, okay, that's what's happening. But take the audience through of what it looks like in your day every morning.
Sure. So I think every day is quite different for me because it actually depends on how much work I have. That literally shapes my entire day.
Right.
So being an intern, you could sometimes have so much work that you can't handle, and sometimes you could literally be back in the college days, as it was today for that matter, when you have
Right.
literally very less work. You can roam around, you can chill, you can go outside. And one good thing about working with Amazon, at least in London, is that they are super flexible. Like I still remember the first day I joined, my mentor, they told me that there is like I asked them what time am I supposed to come, like reach office, and when can I leave. So they're like, you can literally come in whenever you want. You can leave whenever you want. There's nobody looking at your timestamps. We just need the work to be done. And that is actually something which is very practical and which makes a lot of sense. I wish this happened in India as well. I'm literally free to go out of the office at 3 p.m., leave for home at 3 p.m. There's nobody stopping me and nobody would even care about it. But yes, they expect me to do my work, and if I'm not doing that, then it's a big red flag. But yeah, coming back, some days are busy, some days are relatively free. And yeah, the good thing about living in London is that there's always something or the other happening. And I luckily have a couple of friends in the city as well. So every other day there's some kind of plan or something happening. Or I love having food outside as well. So there's always somewhere we wander into without like not going home for dinner and all of that. So there's always
Yeah,
something happening. It's a very busy city. It's a very fast-paced city. You don't know where time goes. So, but overall, I would say it's fun. It is crazy expensive, but yeah, I would say worth
totally worth it, isn't
it. Yes.
it? So you did make the move from Leeds to London, and I think a lot of people feel very overwhelmed every time there's a move coming. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think 100 times before I'm thinking of making a move from this city. And even when I
Mm-hmm.
was in Coventry, I was like, oh gosh, I have to move cities now. What was your
Mm-hmm.
experience like? I mean, it's not easy to find accommodations, that's one. And then, especially moving to London, it's not like you're moving to a smaller town and things are easier and there's like limited options. How did you manage that move from northwest of England to, down south?
So I would say this is one place where a very negative quality that I have comes in very handy, which is
Mm-hmm.
not planning too much in advance and not stressing too much
Right.
about these things, right? So even be it London or be it the one time I had to change my accommodation in Leeds, I still remember the day I got my new apartment in Leeds. The previous apartment's tenancy was over. I was on the street outside my apartment and I made the bank transfer right there from outside the street without having a place to stay. So it is of course difficult. All of these things are very hard finding an accommodation. In fact, when you're moving from India to the UK for starting your university or whatever, you can't even see the place. You don't know what the area is, how safe it is, and all of that. So it is a bit risky. It's also quite a gamble, I would say, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. But then you can always do your research, and nowadays it is literally very easy. You always have loads of ways to find out about areas, about places. There's always You can also find out about people who might be willing to help, especially in uni. There are loads of people who are happy to help you out with areas, with rents, with what kind of places you should move into. But yeah, it is pretty hard, and I would not recommend people to be homeless and then shift into and pay their new apartments rent or whatever. You should ideally plan, but yeah, I've somehow gotten both of my apartments so far in the UK at the very last moment, and yeah, it's been very hectic, very risky also, but that's how it is in this country, what I would say at this stage at least.
And it kind of
But yeah,
worked for you.
it did surprisingly, but I would
That's
not
how it works
recommend
for you, last minute.
it. Not a good idea. Not a good idea though.
Definitely
Yeah.
not something to experiment with London, I would say.
You should not, yes, because I still remember my first. So currently, I live in Canary Wharf in London, but my first 10 days I was based in this area called Whitechapel, which was a very different experience from here. And yeah, that place also I got it at the last minute, but I stayed there for about 10 days, after which I moved here. So it is, I mean, what I would say is for somebody who's looking to shift into the UK or shift into London is do very thorough research, especially if it is London, because it's a very, very difficult city to find an accommodation in, is what I would say. So yeah,
Yeah.
do proper research, make sure you know what you're getting into, how much the rents are. Information is readily available as long as you look properly. So yeah, do your proper research and make sure you are not stuck in some shady area where you can't even safely
Walk.
stay.
Yeah.
And yes, all of that as well. Yeah.
Have you ever felt unsafe in London? Ever?
Uh, Not particularly. I don't think so far I have. It's been okay. But then I also know which areas to kind of avoid.
Yeah.
And I also know not to be in a shady area at 3 in the morning. So but yeah, so far it's been okay. But London
Yeah.
again, you never know. In fact, anywhere in the world, you never know. Anything could happen. But yeah,
True.
as long as you can just try to be careful, take whatever precautions you can. But at the end of the day, it is not specific to London. Anywhere, anything can happen. So yeah,
Yeah, as long as your basics are right, like don't go out alone, especially late
yeah,
in the night, and don't go into shady
correct.
areas where you're just not sure what
Hmm.
it's like. So if you're careful of that, I think everyone is fine then. And don't use your phone like taking selfies and stuff on the busy road
Yes.
where there's kids going with their
Hmm.
bikes and stuff.
True.
So, after researching about your profile and about yourself, I did come across this huge collaboration that you have done that you kind of did all by yourself. I'm not going to say anything, I'll just leave it to you. You tell me about it. And in detail, we want to know how you got that done.
Sure, sure. So I was 19. I was in my second year of engineering, and I was interning with this company called Harley Davidson, and that was a very technical engineering specific internship that I was into. But I always was kind of fascinated by how marketing works, even though I did not know anything about it. But somehow I just liked the whole idea of marketing through I don't even know how or what. But yeah, and that is a field that I was interested in. So I went up to the marketing guy. I was like, "Can I help you in any ways? Can I learn from you in any ways?" He was pretty unbothered, but he was like, "Yeah, sure. If you want to, why not?" That didn't work out well, but I also really liked and looked up to this influencer called Gaurav Taneja back then, and I really wanted to meet him, but I didn't know how or I didn't know why he would meet me. But yeah, luckily I just thought that he makes lifestyle vlogs about his day, about what he's doing, and all of those things. So I was
Yeah.
like, Harley Davidson is a massive brand in India. Their bikes are pretty fascinating. People, and there was not too much content about them back then. So I randomly shot an email to him that this is what I do, this is who I am, and this is what I can give. I'm an intern with Harley, and I can give you an amazing video about the entire Harley Davidson showroom, the service center, a test ride, and I just framed it very well as what I would say. I had some kind of marketing skills. I marketed myself and my proposition very well, which is
Yeah.
what I feel attracted him. And yeah, that's how it happened. That's how I got to know about how influencer marketing works, how partnerships work, how much brands pay influencers, and yeah, that's in fact how I shifted into the world of marketing eventually. But yeah, that was the first step I ever took, which got me to I would say into this field. Yeah.
So when you finally cracked it, what did it feel like? Say when you emailed him and then when you waiting for
Hmm.
that reply and it
Yeah.
came and he came, what was that like?
It was amazing, and I was so happy to meet him. And he was also very different in person than he is in his videos. Is what actually surprised me. He was very nice, of course, but yeah, it was a super fun experience. There's quite a bit I learned from him, and I used to be a crazy fan of him back then. But yeah, it was a very good experience, and it in fact led to many more such experiences as well. So that is going to be one of the best times I had working at Harlem. So yeah.
Wow. So at 19, you were this courageous that you decided to, write that email, meet this person you have been crazy about, or, you were that fanboy moment was there, and then you just did it. What was his experience like?
You mean of the collaboration or?
I mean, yes, Gaurav's experience. What did he feel like? Did he say, like, you're only 19 and you've written me an email, or was he like casual about the whole thing?
No, he was pretty chill about it because I feel he himself has achieved so much in life that this is nothing for him. But
Yeah.
but yeah, he was pretty chill about it. But it was a great experience, just learning from him, being around him, and meeting him in person. And the whole video also turned out to be great. It has over 3 million views or something right now, I believe. So it was a
Wow.
great collaboration that I was able to set up at zero cost. So it was a win-win for both Harley and for Gaurav, and a tiny bit of win for me as well. So yeah, overall it was great. It was super fun. It was an amazing experience and so much to learn. So much I got to learn from it is what I would say.
So, do you have any tips for anyone who's planning of doing something similar? How to go about this?
Oh yeah, I very strongly feel that literally anybody will reply to you as long as what you're proposing makes sense and interests them enough.
Yeah.
So as long as you have something to offer and shape it the right way, propose it the right way, then why not? Like partnerships and influencer partnerships, especially, they're on the rise. People are making so much money. If you're an influencer or if you do something like what I was doing, there's so much money in this industry, especially in India. So yeah, if somebody's interested in it, it is a very easy field, is what I would say, to get into. And once you do get into it, you tend to make some very good connections, which just makes it easier and easier as you grow. So
So just be bold and write that email, write
yeah,
that
yeah,
text message.
yeah.
and it'll be
100%.
done.
Why not? What's the worst that can happen, right?
Exactly. Yes. Just offer them something and then you get what you want. So it has to be
Yeah,
a good
true.
amount of value creation, is what I kind of realize.
I mean, yeah, just don't write hi, sir, big fan and all of that shit. Just
Yeah, that
if you
doesn't
want to
work.
reach out to them, just be nice, be polite, and just offer them something that would actually attract them, and then why not?
Yeah. You yourself ventured into content creation. In fact, that's how I found you, discovered you rather. What inspired you to, start creating content and enter the creator industry?
I mean, I wouldn't give such fancy words to that because I literally have just 500 followers. But
But you've
okay,
started somewhere.
I mean, yeah, I've always liked to do this. I would always make random videos and I would take up these random challenges on Instagram that I'll go to the gym 30 days in a row. It's December, I'm going to work out the entire December and be a changed man the next year and all of that shit. So I would always do that from as long as I can remember. But yeah, it is something that actually really fascinates me and it gets me, I would say, certain opportunities which I'm really eager to do. And one more thing is that the power of building a personal brand. That is something that I don't think anybody can imagine because it has gotten people to such heights that I mean, if you look in the Indian space, there are so many people who literally would have been in a 9 to 5 earning literally nothing. And just because they gained a little bit of confidence and started making some random videos. They have turned around their lives and made themselves worth probably 1,000 times more than they could have had they not done this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? So there's massive power in this field. And but I genuinely just like doing what I do is why I do it. But there are of course loads of benefits to it as well.
No, I absolutely agree. I think a lot of people have turned their lives upside down in a good way by building a personal brand, by coming onto the creator economy and then starting to create content. I personally know some people who were in their regular lives but then have now become creators and they're doing so well, and it's so nice. It's almost inspiring to look at their lives and be like, wow, they've done it. And it's definitely an inspiration as well. When I talk to people, I always tell them that you should have a personal brand, and it doesn't have to be something you're creating online. It doesn't have to be you showing your face. It could be anything, writing something or even creating something without your face in it. Because when I first started my content creation journey, I remember I never wanted to come in front of the camera because I was very camera shy. I was like, I can't do it, I don't want to do it, what will my friends think, why has she started suddenly doing this? And every time I wanted to launch a series for anything, so I did like finance Fridays on my then business page, and I would find someone who had the understanding and who had the expertise, and then I would be like, you make the content. Then every time I wanted to do like cooking videos, I would find someone who loves to cook, and then I would tell them, you make the videos and I'll put it on my page. So it took me a lot of time to become confident
Interesting.
and be like okay, let me start now. And it was only during COVID that I decided, I was like, I have to. I mean, I can't keep waiting and finding people to do it for me for the page. Probably it's time I should start. And I think that's changed a lot of things for me. A lot of things for me, definitely.
Yep, I so agree to that. And that always happens. So as long as you put in the work and especially in this field, it could get you some crazy returns. But again, I would say never do it keeping that in mind. Just do it if you actually like it.
Yeah.
And if you're actually passionate about it, just don't do it oh, this guy started content creation, he has 10,000 followers, he's getting so much money out of it, I'm gonna do it too. Never do it for that. Do it only if you like are genuinely interested and passionate about it. Because it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of consistency, which will 100% fade away if you are not actually passionate about it.
And so
So
much
yeah.
time. Like
Oh yes,
every
100%.
so much time. Like every time I have to create a YouTube video, I have to first look presentable, and then I have to shoot the video, then I have to arrange the lighting everywhere, then I have to move my table here and there, and then I start shooting. I have to take so many takes because if I've said something wrong or if I want to re-say something and whatnot, and by the time I finish the entire process, I think it's a good 4 5 hour long job, including scripting, and then you have to edit after that. So it is very, very time taking and it can be exhausting. Like the other day, I shot a YouTube video and after that, I didn't want to cook. So I was like, now who's making dinner for me? Because I was so exhausted. So that's
Hmm.
very true that if you really enjoy doing it, if you really enjoy the process of it, scripting, researching and then creating and editing and whatnot, then it's fun. Otherwise, you'll be exhausted within the first few months, I feel.
True, true. That is so true.
You have to really enjoy it that yes, I'm going to start a video. Earlier I used to get so annoyed at, oh my gosh, I have to get dressed because I love being just not dressing up and then just being in
Hmm.
my PJs and whatnot. And then
Hmm.
I came up with the easiest solution: just wear black. You don't have to think about anything. I don't
Black
have
always works, right?
exactly. And I love black. So I was like, I don't have to pick any outfits. I don't have to spend time thinking about what to wear for the next video. Let's make it
Hmm.
simple. Just anything black works. So I
Now
think
we
that
know
was
what
a good
happened
decision.
today.
What do you mean? What
Hmm.
happened today, as in?
Black.
Oh, before this, right? Yeah. No, I was wearing my black hoodie before this, but it was
Hmm.
so hot in the room. I was like, no, I can't do that. So I put in a t-shirt. So it's fine. At least I don't have to pick. So as long
True.
as you
Yes.
make those decisions simpler for yourself and start to enjoy this process, I think it's good. Now it's been 4.5 years that I'm doing it and I enjoy it. I love it. Sometimes I'm exhausted, but it's good. It's better than anything else, is what I feel
Hmm. Yep. True.
mostly. Yeah. And you're almost there. So I would like to ask you, I mean, it is kind of not out of context, but say if somebody is starting today, has just created a creator account, has say one follower,
Okay.
that's me, what do they have
Okay.
to do? What are some of the steps you would tell them? Like when you started, what were some of the steps you thought about?
I honestly think I'm not the right person for this. You're hyping me up way too much. I don't have
Come
enough
on, it's
credibility
not
right
easy to
now.
get those.
But
It's not
but
easy to get 500 followers. I've been there, so you have
no,
come a
but
long way.
I think all it is that you just need to not care about what people think and just consistently post and try to make good content. Try to make things that people would actually want to watch. Try to
Right.
make things that would either make them laugh, make or inspire them, or make them want to share it with their friends. Just keep these tiny things in mind when you're shooting or scripting or whatever. And yeah, that's about it for that.
Right. Those are good tips. Someone can start with that. That just
Hmm.
go for it. So, content creation and then everything that you've done in the past, there has been a rise of a lot of other skills apart from what anyone is doing today. Like your degrees are not enough. That's why we are careers beyond degree. So, the
Hmm.
degrees are not enough. Whatever you've studied is not enough. Whatever little courses you've done is not enough. And I have gone through your LinkedIn profile. You have done a few certifications. You have gone the extra mile. Is there any particular reason? Do you think skills building more and more skills is important, and how do you decide what kind of skills you should build?
I honestly feel that it boils down to something very basic that you just need to grow in life, right? And you have to think of various ways you can do that, and just you have to think of various ways that you can become better today than you were yesterday. It could literally be something as simple as working out. If you're working out gradually, you will start to look better. You will start to feel more confident. And I feel that is good enough. And literally in every part of your life, be it your physical health, your finances, your mental health, as long as you're growing, that is what needs to be done. That is what you should be focusing on. And then for each aspect of your life, there's certain ways that you can grow, like be it mentally or be it just how generally aware you are. You can then, as simple as reading the news every morning, like
Yeah.
small things, but then they gradually make you so much better in life and help you grow so much. So it is literally the tiny things that you do every single day is what make you better or help you grow in life. So that's what I try to do as much as I can. I am nowhere even close to as much as I would want to do. But yeah, I feel as long as you're trying, that's good enough. Yeah.
So, was there any particular reason to go ahead with your course with LBS or go ahead with online courses? Do you think it's helped in your career with Amazon in any way?
100%. And the thing is that, as I mentioned, I used to be an engineer. So I did not have any specific marketing related degree before my master's. Um, so the London Business School course, I did so that I could get certified. I knew pretty much everything they taught. But then again, you also need to prove that if you're getting into marketing, then you should have some credibility. Otherwise, you're not gonna get to, I don't know, as good a job is what I would say.
Right.
So that just helps you build credibility, even to quite an extent, I would say. Again, controversial opinion, but even your master's degree, it doesn't teach you as much. It just gives you credibility to get into the door when you're applying for a job, right?
Right.
Most of these skills, in fact, even right now that I've started my new job, I feel so many things I'm learning right now for the first time, right? Which I did not essentially were not part of my course in university. So your education, of course, it 100% helps a lot, but it also, to quite an extent, gives you the credibility that is needed to be where you want to be, is what I would say.
Right. And do you think the UK is still the place for people to come and study, come and work, keeping in mind, the crime rates are high and then everything is getting so expensive. Education is not so simple to get into because after that you don't have sponsored jobs.
Hmm.
If there is somebody from India, for instance, where we both are from, if there's somebody from there asking you that should I still move to the UK to study, what would you say?
See, I would say it depends on what you want to achieve. There could be multiple things, right? Some of my friends, they literally came to the UK for just a year, and they had businesses in India, running businesses. They came for a year, they studied, they had a good time, and now they're back and they're working on their lives, right? So if that is something that you want, then 100% come to the UK. It's a great place, right? If you want to build a career in the UK, again, it depends. I would say it's a bit hard. It's quite a gamble. Jobs are very difficult these days.
Yeah.
Um, you might have to support yourself after you've completed your degree for quite a bit, quite a couple of months, for a couple of months, sorry. And I personally know people who haven't gotten jobs, full-time jobs for literally years, like 1 or 2 years after they've completed their degree. A student who's coming to the UK for your master's or even for your undergrad or whatever, I would say be prepared that you might not get a job, that you might have to support yourself even after you've completed your degree. You might have to do part-time jobs, you might have to work in Primark or McDonald's or whatever. So as long as you're prepared for that, the UK is a great place. It will give you some great exposure. It will teach you things that India can never ever teach you. It'll help you build connections that you probably could never have made in India. So it is definitely better than living in India or studying in India. But again, if you can, and that's a major factor. So because currently the UK is not in a good state in terms of jobs. Jobs are declining, they're becoming very competitive. More and more people are coming to the country. Some very smart people are here, so it's very competitive. So it all depends on, are you prepared enough, and are you prepared to not get a job, to support yourself and all of those things. So yes, it is difficult, but I would still recommend it.
Excellent. I think I would say the same. Every time someone
Mm.
asks me, is it still the right place to come? And I would ask them, what are you coming for? You first give me
Mm.
that perspective, and then I can tell you, are you coming for a year to study to make the most of your university life? Great, do come. But if you're thinking about coming here and, landing the first job and that's sponsored and with a great salary, there's a lot of work to be done. And maybe after even doing the work, you might not get it. So come prepared. As simple as that, I think. Did you do any part time
Yes,
jobs?
I did briefly. I did, and so I did this part-time thing in a school where I was an exam invigilator. So that was a great
Okay,
part time that I had. I
right.
literally had to roam around and boss around little kids, but it was fun. It was fun. It was great. The pay was also pretty nice. So overall, it was a good experience, I would say.
Did you have to have some qualification to become like an
No,
invigilator?
no. You don't need any qualifications as long as you can converse, as long as you can talk to the kids, you're good. Yeah,
Wow, so that means you're good with kids.
I guess so.
You can discipline them.
I guess so.
Right. You also mentioned in your previous answer that you make good connections when you come here. And I've also gone through one of your posts where you mentioned that it's important to find the right people in the UK. Otherwise, your journey can be very different, and the right people around you to support you and encourage you. Did you find the right people? Did you find a good friend circle? How did you find them? And I remember a student once came to me and told me, I'm not able to make friends here. How do I find friends? It's been 3 months. And he literally had a really, really sad face. So I understood that he's really finding it hard to do it. So, what would you advise to somebody like that?
So I would advise, in fact, the post that you mentioned, yes, I remember that point, and that was in fact focused more on making the right kind of friends because in the UK or anywhere for literally anywhere for that matter, India, Delhi, wherever, there are all sorts of people, right? There are some good people, there are some bad people. Now you need to be very cautious. It gets more difficult when you're in the UK because you're away from family, you're away from all the privileges, you're away from all the support, the protection, and all of that. So then you need to be much more cautious, much more careful because there are all sorts of people out there, and some are very nice, some are very kind, and some can be cruel as well. So you need to be cautious because if you get stuck with something very bad or someone very bad, then life becomes very hard, especially being an international student, right? Because there's so much of liability in terms of how much your parents have invested and how much you have done to get here. So you can't really afford, no matter who you are, to let things go wrong, right? So you should be cautious in terms of making friends with people, in terms of who you're fraternizing with, and all of that. But again, coming back to your point, making friends, I feel it is actually very easy in the UK because it's not just you who has come to this country for the first time probably and away from family, away from friends. Literally everybody is looking out to make new friends, meet new people, and all of that. So I would say at least if you're coming to this country as a student, first couple of months, everybody is in the same boat. Everybody is looking to make friends. Everybody is looking to make connections. So people are usually very open here. You just might have to approach them yourself, but as long as you just go and say hello, it just goes on from there. Just don't be reserved, don't be inside your room, don't like never come out and all of those things. Just try to be a bit more open, come with an open mind, try to make friends, even if you're, let's say you're shy or let's say you're reserved or something like that. Just use this time as an opportunity to get over that shyness or over being reserved, because those are some really good qualities that you can develop during this period of time, right? So yeah.
And do you think networking plays a role in your life in the UK apart from friendships?
Yeah, 100%. In fact, last 3 4 months of my degree, I started attending networking events regularly. Almost every week I would go to a networking event of professionals. So these would be people who have businesses in the UK. These would be sometimes some very established people who have done some great things in their lives. And you tend to learn a lot more from them compared to your friends because obviously they come with experience, they come with learnings, they come with failures. So they teach you a lot more. And just attending networking events. And in the UK, it's very common to just randomly go. You have this website app called Eventbrite, and even on Google, if you look up networking events near me, there's so many that come up every week, and they're all free to attend. So I would definitely recommend doing that. In fact, I would recommend doing that over partying and over clubbing and all of that, because at least at that stage, doing this, going to networking events, it helps me build a community, build a network of people who are so well connected, so established, done so much in their lives, right? So that is something I would 100% recommend everybody should do if they're in the UK.
Right. To add to your previous point, where you mentioned that make friends with the right people, I think something that I would also like to advise here is that don't take shortcuts. People want to take shortcuts for so many things like getting a job, getting a part time role, or just getting an extension on their current visas. And they want to do anything just to stay back. And they take shortcuts and get involved with the wrong people and then take the wrong steps. which can lead to bigger problems in the future. And I have come across so many people and I've come across so many stories where they have done this, only regretted it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be cautious of the fact that you're not living in India. This is not your country. You are not a citizen. So
Yeah.
you need to be aware of that fact very well, right? And you need to act accordingly. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
good as long as everything is good. But if you land in any sort of trouble or if you do something wrong, then things can get very difficult for you in this country. So yeah,
Absolutely, because networking is one thing, but even with networking, to sit down around or to connect with the right kind of people can really change your experience overall professionally and even in uni. But if you're sat with the wrong people and if you're sat there for too long, that can lead to just kind of sour endings to a lot of aspects of your life.
true. Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much. That was quite an interesting conversation, and it was good to know more things about you and your journey so far in the UK. Any final words for the audience?
No, I think this was actually a very good conversation. This was a great chat. I personally got to learn a lot throughout this entire project. But yeah, I think I would just like to wish the best of luck to everybody who's starting a new journey in this country or wherever. And if anybody needs any help regarding applying to jobs or what they should do, I'm always happy to help. Always happy to guide if I can or in whatever way I can. So yeah, happy to help and wish everybody all the best. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much once again, Daksh, for coming on Careers Beyond Degree, and it has been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Likewise.